Welcome to Midnight Delight, where nightmares come to play. Tonight, I take you deep into the eerie silence of an unsettling forest, where shadows hide secrets and the unknown lurks behind every tree. Prepare yourself for a chilling tale of an apple-picking tradition turned horrifying. As the darkness closes in, keep your eyes and ears wide open, for you might hear the whispers of the lost calling from the shadows. Sit back, relax, and let the terror begin. Every year, my family planned these outings where we would go apple picking with a few other families. We'd wake up early, everyone would meet at our house, and then we'd convoy to the orchard. It became a sort of tradition, I guess. The sun would barely be up, the air crisp, and our parents would fill their thermoses with hot coffee while we kids joked about who could pick the most apples. We'd usually spend a few hours at the orchard picking apples, playing around and enjoying ourselves. After that, we'd always head over to this beach that wasn't too far away. Most of the group just hung out at the beach, playing by the water and relaxing. But some of the younger teens and adults would hike through this forest that bordered the beach. We never ventured too deep, always sticking to the same path that would lead right back to the beach. But one year, my friend Johnny, my Uncle Mark, and I decided to be a bit more adventurous and take a different path. We split from the main group and walked down a trail that led deeper into the forest. The deeper we walked, the thicker the forest got, and the more the trees seemed to close in around us. It was a little creepy, but I kind of liked it. I wasn't really scared, but it was a bit spooky. After walking for what I would guess was maybe 10 to 15 minutes, Johnny suddenly stopped and shushed us. Did you guys hear that? We stopped and listened. I didn't hear anything. My uncle responded, "Let me guess. You saw Bigfoot. You pull the same stupid pranks every year. You're so predictable, Johnny. When are you gonna grow up?" We kept walking, ignoring him. He ran and caught up with us. "But I really did hear something," he said. "Sure you did. Just like all the other times you seen something or heard something. You're not gonna scare us, man." But now that I'm thinking back on it, he did seem a bit shaken up. Usually he has that faint smirk when he was lying, but from what I can remember, he didn't this time. He stopped talking and just kind of kept looking behind us. We ignored him and kept walking. But then, we heard a loud noise off to the left of the trail. It sounded like a tree fell over or something. "Did you hear that?" said Johnny. My uncle responded, "Of course we heard that, you idiot. It was probably an old rotted tree that fell over." We all stopped and looked in the direction the noise came from, but the forest was too thick, we couldn't really see that far in. I did notice, as we stood there looking into the forest, that there were no sounds whatsoever, like nothing. No birds chirping, no squirrels, and it wasn't even windy either. Then, we heard the same type of noise to the right of us. We all turned and looked that way, but we still couldn't see anything. "Another tree," said Johnny, but no one said a thing, not even my uncle. And he's a big, athletic bodybuilder type of guy, not someone I've ever seen show any fear. But I looked over at him, and even he seemed a bit uneasy. It was so quiet, the only thing I noticed was all of our breathing getting a bit heavier. Then we heard something start moving back to the left of us. It sounded like something big was walking around over there. My uncle just whispered to us, "Run." All three of us took off running as fast as we could back the way we came. We must have been running at full speed for at least 5 to 10 minutes straight. "I can't run anymore," I said, falling to my knees, yelling out, "Wait!" My uncle stopped and yelled back, "What's wrong?" "I can't breathe. I gotta catch my breath." All three of us sat down and took a quick rest. No one said a word. We just sat there, eyes and ears wide open. After a few minutes, my uncle said, "Get up, let's go." So we continued walking back down the path. Another 5 to 10 minutes must have passed when Johnny whispered, "Shouldn't we be back by now?" My uncle whispered back, "I was thinking the same thing, but I don't want to freak you guys out." We came in on one path. There were no turnoffs or forks. It doesn't make any sense. Why haven't we made it back yet? My uncle told us to just keep walking, assuring us that we were about to hit the beach any minute now. More time passed and we still hadn't made it back. Something was wrong. Where were we? I just didn't get it. And now, it was starting to get dark. The thought of being out here in the dark with whatever we heard back there was terrifying to think about. As night fell, my uncle turned to us and said, "Okay, this is the plan. We stop here, we stay put for the night. We have to be close to the beach, but we might lose the trail in the night and get even more lost. They definitely noticed we're missing by now, so they have to have alerted search and rescue. They are looking for us, so we'll just wait here until they find us." Hours passed, and we haven't heard or seen anything. No one's really said anything either, and there's no way any of us are going to be able to sleep out here. My uncle got up and said he's been having to use the bathroom for hours and he just can't hold it anymore. So he tells us he's going to go behind this big tree in front of us. He'll be right back. Him leaving our side scared me, so I kept my eyes on him and where he went as he disappeared behind this giant tree. We then heard these terrifying screams come from the direction he went. And it sounded like him. And it sounded like he was in excruciating pain. Me and Johnny jumped up and ran over there to see where he went. But he wasn't there. We then heard the screams again further into the forest. We chased after him, but it seemed like we couldn't catch up to him. It was almost like we were being lured out there. Then Johnny tripped and yelled, "Matt, wait!" I stopped and helped him back up. When we got to our feet, I noticed the screams had stopped. We both just stood there in the middle of the dark forest, listening for any sound of my uncle. Then, something happened that still haunts me to this day. "Hey guys, come here, check this out." We heard a voice come from the darkness. It sounded like my uncle, but it also didn't sound like him. It was like something was mimicking him. We were both frozen in fear, staring into the dark forest. "Are you guys coming?" it said again. Johnny immediately, without word, took off running into the opposite direction. I followed right away. I heard it yell at us as we took off. "Wait! Come back! I just want to show you something!" I started hearing leaves crunching and twigs snapping behind me as I ran. It was so hard to see, and Johnny was quite a bit ahead of me. Pushing myself to try and catch up to him, I tripped and hit my head pretty hard, and everything went black. Matt, wake up. I opened my eyes to my mom and my grandpa. "Are you okay? What happened?" I didn't say anything. I just looked around. It was day, and I was on the trail we first went down. "Where's Mark and Johnny?" my mom asked. We got lost last night, and something chased us. I fell and hit my head. That's the last thing I remember." "Last night?" my mom asked with a very confused look on her face. "What do you mean last night? You guys went down a different trail and you were gone like an hour, if that. So we came to look for you, and we found you laying here." Wait, what? You said we were only gone an hour? No. We got lost out there, and it got dark, and something was out there. And it took Mark, and it chased me and Johnny. The look on their faces clearly told me they didn't believe me, even though they didn't want to say it. I knew that's what they were thinking. "Why don't you head back to the car and we'll go look for the others," said my mom. As I sat in the car, I thought to myself, maybe it was a dream. Maybe I fell and hit my head and it was all a dream. Maybe. A few hours passed, and my mom and the rest of the group came back, but no Mark or Johnny. I heard my mom call to make a missing persons report. Within an hour, search and rescue were there, and they started searching. This went on for weeks, but nothing was ever found. Needless to say, that was the last time we went apple picking. But sometimes, late at night, I can still hear my uncle's voice calling to me from the darkness. Thank you for joining me on this terrifying journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed tonight's story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Midnight Delight for more spine-chilling tales. Remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. And as you drift off to sleep, beware of the darkness and the whispers that come with it. Until next time, sleep tight, if you can.